Hello and good evening to all our viewers. So, today we are doing faction focus Seraphon with our good friend Mr. Doctor, who is here from his own columns and has come to the world of AOS to share with us the delights of the lizards.
Yes.
Hello once again to our good friend Michael, who is our most regular viewer. And yes, I was having dandruff issues, so I decided to just eat all the hair. It'll be back in like a couple of weeks.
I imagine if I got you a ring light, it would like shine.
I am using a light right now, and it is shining. Look, like ching, ching. It's only shining because I have lotion on my scalp, right? Okay, and it's a super nice feeling to have lotion on your scalp. Like holy shit, it's so nice.
And even just walking bald is amazing. Like I remember, you just feel the wind currents on your head. Like,
I actually don't like that. I don't like the feeling of wind on my scalp.
ah,
Like not even the aircon or electric fan. I don't like it. Um, I like the coolness, but I don't like wind.
ah.
Yeah,
Me, I
yeah,
like it because I run hot a lot, like really hot. And yeah, unfortunate, I live in tropical country. I know.
indeed.
So,
So
yeah,
getting
let's
to our
let's.
actual topic. Yes, today we will be reviewing the Seraphon, which are the lizard men from the world that was. Joining us with today would be Mr. Doctor, as you can see from this face swap photo that we took many years ago. And as well, Teacher Mikey might be joining us later because he is, for those who don't know, he is currently sold out to the government and is currently sucking the cock of like our favorite president. So he will be joining us later if he can, depending on like how quickly he gets someone off. So let's get into the glories of the Seraphon. So tonight on Faction Focus Friday, of course, this is a regular spiel. We can we're gonna talk about what kind of wargame fits your lifestyle, why this faction is for you or not, and how you can get started fast and how you can scale up. So we do have two ways to play this game. We have the Age of Sigmar, the full big army game, which lets you play big army with lots of models and lets you create a spectacle, diorama set pieces. It is a huge investment in terms of assembly time and playing time, but not necessarily expensive, depending on which army you go for. Um, and then the for Warcry, it's a small squad with a few models, and it's up close and personal. It's model to model face-offs. It's a small investment in terms of assembly and playing time, but there's this thing where with Mikey where he wants to collect every single warband there is, which turns it into incredibly expensive as well. So here's Teacher Mikey live from his sucking of government cock. Hello, Teacher Mikey. Um,
When we said screw the man, that's not what we meant, Mikey.
indeed, indeed. So here's Giancarlo. Oh, by the way, we will be featuring Giancarlo's night haunt later because like Teacher Doctor has no painted Seraphon yet.
I haven't yet.
So we hope to have that by the end of the month, though. Like, yeah,
They're not even based yet. I'm telling you now.
it's fine. Like, we'll get there. We'll get there. And Michael, we haven't seen the Seraphon vid yet. If you can link it here on the comments, that would be great. We'll happily watch it like live on stream and react to it. And yes, this is absolutely true. There are a few things that are gospel truth in this hobby. One is painted armies roll better, and two is that shaving makes the dice gods hate you. So luckily for hopefully shaving my head will make Vian's rolls luckier when we play Adeptus Titanicus next week. So it's like somewhat of a fair fight. Because otherwise Vian luck will just screw him to like all hell as usual. So who are the Seraphon? The Seraphon are basically lizard men from the world that was. They are a throwback from the old world of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, and they were creations of the old ones meant to assure that the old one's plan for the world was carried through. However, at the end of the glorious end times, where Nagash almost won, except he did not because of the meddlings of a certain dick elf and a certain dick vampire. After the Skaven like crashed the freaking moon into South America, they decided to yeet off and turn the and use their Aztec pyramid spaceships to leave the world and let it yeet. So now in the new world, this is them in the old world. See, Slan. Those are fat frog people. Fun. So now in the new world, they are divided into two. They are the Starborn, which are the Seraphon, which transcended their physical bodies and became essentially demons of order, able to be summoned and appear at will. And the Coalesced, who are Starborn who reclaimed their physical bodies and generally started claiming tracts of jungle as their own again. So they're more like the old Seraphon than the Starborn. So yeah, this is just like a representation of what a city of Seraphon would look like minus all the trees. This is from Mexico. This is Tenochtitlan, I believe. So if you can imagine that giant pyramid in the back, but a spaceship, you would not be far off. Oh,
Aliens.
and the Seraphon also do have as their faction terrain a freaking Aztec pyramid. Oops, sorry.
Ooh,
All
do
right,
we?
so that's a formatting error right there. Anyway, building and
Okay.
painting Seraphon is pretty. How is the building experience, Mister Doctor?
The building experience. Lots of spikes and lots of curved pieces. So it
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit more challenging than building my chaos, which still had a lot of spikes. But since my chaos were based on, I know, on marines, like it was fairly straightforward. You just put the arms on, put the rectangular shaped body on. It was mostly that. But here, there's a lot of diverse shapes, and again, spikes. I literally have bled upon the spikes on these little assholes, and yeah, that's it. Oh, and lots of smaller and finer details as well. Like they don't really wear uniforms, but and they wear diverse accessories, jewelry, and so on. So every piece can be literally unique.
I have an assembly question. Like, how's the fit? Do you find there are a lot of mold lines, or are they hidden well?
I do feel the mold lines are hidden fairly well. They since the dinosaurs usually have that spine thing.
Yeah,
It's hidden. It's usually hidden along those, so it's a lot easier to deal with. Or hidden on the undersides. I didn't have many I was disappointed because mold lining is one of my favorite steps, and uh, there weren't many, to be honest. One difficulty though, the fits. Like since you particularly the T-Rexes, you have multiple options with the T-Rexes. Sometimes the fit tended to be a little loose, or you had to press things together and then wait for the glue to dry before you could let it go. Otherwise, it would just snap apart. in
I
just in some
do.
parts, but beyond that, no other concerns really.
How about for the smaller guys? Is it the same amount of quality, or do you find it less because they are older models? The Saurus Guard, for example, the Saurus
The
Warriors
Taurus
rather.
Guard. Wait, let me take them out. I have them right here.
So
To
show
be
us
honest,
those Saurus Warriors.
the Saurus Warriors I actually liked because they're heavily detailed. I don't know if my camera's catching it, but the thing has scales on the back, and that intimidates me because the paint job is gonna be a bitch.
No, no, it is not gonna be a bitch because, as Michael notes here, contrast for the win. Because
Ah,
these
yes.
guys are so heavily ridged and scaled, it makes them absolutely perfect for contrast
Ooh.
and for dry brushing. So you can actually combine contrast and dry brushing to create like all sorts of patterns. And this is gonna be like how we're gonna do yours probably.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah.
Noted.
Michael says his biggest problem is actually finding a good color scheme.
That's also my problem because I wanted to go really colorful with these guys. In fact, I wanted a glossy feel to some of them, much like the feathers of a peacock in some
You can
cases.
just
Because
do like a gloss varnish
yes,
afterward.
yes, that was one of my ideas. One thing I did not like, but it was a rules thing. It was that all of them had to have the same weapons.
Yes.
So what I did instead was, because I wanted a little bit more chaos, a little bit more variety, was that I glued whatever weapons I wanted onto whatever figure I wanted, and then I just scraped off the hands
And then put them on the back.
and put them on the back. Yeah, that's exactly what I
That's
did,
totally fine.
and that's what I did with with the Saurus Knights as well. I actually have an example in the pics of my unpainted army
All right.
where the sword is on the horse or the axe is on the horse, but the guy is holding a spear.
We shall get to that later.
Yes.
All right. So I forgot to update that slide. Anyway, so um Seraphon play really weirdly because they actually do have two separate army builds completely. So we'll discuss those when we get to them. But as usual, big army game types. AOS usually goes from 750 to 2,000 points, with 3,000 points really only being for casual games, and it will take you some hours. So 2,000 points are usually where most tournaments sit, and 750 is like the smallest game you can play in match play. Then you do have like a certain number of limitations, particularly for your behemoths that are particularly important for this faction. You can
Mhm.
only have one behemoth in your 750 point army. So this army likes its behemoths. So you want to focus more on this behemoth restriction than anything else, as well as the leader restriction.
Yeah, it was really the behemoths, the big bitches they were the reason I
Indeed.
got into the Seraphon.
So there are two armies here. We have the coalesced, which are the oh look,
What?
more Twitch bots. Yeah. You know you're making it when you get spammed by Twitch bots. So
Yeah.
all right. So the coalesced, these guys are the Seraphon who reclaimed their physical bodies and occupied territory in the jungles. So they actually have physical bodies, so they ignore bravery modifiers, but they do use their regular bravery, which is usually 7 or 6, 7 or 8 for your Saurus guys. But be wary of skinks that do have a bravery of 5. So, and what's really nice is you have +1 to all jaw attacks, which is in your Saurus and your monsters. So anything that bites, you get +1 attack. And you have this thing where you have your overpowering control over the terrain, where the bad terrain types in your territory only affect enemies, while the good terrain types in your territory only affect you. So it's good when you're playing a defensive game, but not so much when you're charging into the opponent's glorious deployment zone. But here is the spicy bit. There's -1 damage for attacks that target coalesced units. So that's big. So it turns like 2 damage weapons into 1 damage, which cuts their well, damage by half. And it makes everything more survivable. That's built in transhuman physiology. So that's incredibly good, and that alone is a good reason to go coalesced. But the more competitive option, the more cheesy option is the Starborn. It's straight up Bravery 8. And you are once again the undead slash demons, so that you have Bravery 10. Um, you do still have Bravery modifiers, but hey, Bravery 10. Then you can summon units when you have enough Celestial Conjuration points because you're basically, demons. So once you have enough China Communist Party, you can start summoning things onto the battlefield. So you generate D3 if your general is a Slan or a Star Seer. Um, then you generate D3 if you have an Astrolith Bearer, which is a Saurus, and this is an army that's predominantly skinks. So it's weird, but And you can also do a conjuration with a Slan or Oracle for an additional D3 points, but you give up a spell slot, which is fine if you're using Croak and his 4 freaking spells a turn. It's not Nagash with his 8 spells, but still pretty good. And once per turn, you can teleport a unit anywhere on the board more than 9 inches away from the enemy. So really good movement shenanigans. So they both have two sub factions to their name, and I bolded the actual good ones in like
Bold.
bold. Yes. Oh, bold. Just to make there absolutely no confusion as to which is good and which is bad. So for Coalesced, you have the Coatls Claw, which focuses on Soros spam. It basically makes your Soros more accurate. Sometimes it gives them bonus attacks. Just focuses on Soros. It buffs the Soros, and you'll just bring Soros for days. Now, the actual good shit is Thunder Lizard. Thunder Lizard makes your monsters tankier with an additional 2 wounds each for all monsters.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. And once per turn, you can use a command ability to double shoot your Bastiladons, your giant sun lasers. So yes, the giant lasers.
Yes.
Um, ah, so you can also double use your Engine of the Gods ability, which is random, but all the abilities are good. Except for one, but that's an 8% chance of triggering. So pretty good. And Stegodons become battle line, which means they're gone from the behemoth slot and they count as battle line, meaning you can spam more monsters.
Ah, perfection.
Indeed. So, meanwhile, for the Starborn, we have Dracothion's Tale, where your units can deep strike for free, and they can also leave the battlefield and then deep strike again next turn, which is okay, but you already have the built-in teleportation for being Starborn. So, what's actually used is the Fangs of Sotek, which is El Queso Grande. It buffs your skinks, and skinks are one of the more powerful parts of this entire book. So all skinks, anything with the skink keyword, gets plus 3 inches of movement. You know what has the skink keyword? Skinks and stegodons and troglodons. Basically, anything with a skink riding it has the skink keyword, meaning it gets an extra 3 inches of movement.
My Spitty Boy.
Your spitty boy gets faster. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
Skinky.
they also have an awesome command ability that after your opponent has charged you, it lets you shoot them and then you run away.
Oh, that sounds
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Um, and the good thing about Seraphon is the models are not exclusive. You can choose Coalesced or Starborn with all the models inside the faction. Like there's no restriction. Like they all share the same model. So if one game you want to play Thunder Lizard, the next you want to play Fangs of Sotek, absolutely no problem. So again, it's rule of cool. You can play what you want. If you want to play like nothing but skinks, that's a completely valid option. If you want to play nothing but the Pterodon riders, even though they're garbage, do that. So we're gonna start. We're gonna be flipping our usual modus operandi because Teacher Mikey is once again sucking government cock right now. So he will be coming in later around 9 p.m. if he can. So we're putting the Warcry stuff for last. And yeah, the biggest problem is availability, but there are ways to get around this, and we will get there. So Slan, while you would have been correct that the Slan was a must-have before, it is completely and utterly overshadowed by Lord Croak. So he is the big bad Slan. So he's a centerpiece model. He's huge. And he's absolutely freaking required. He's the cornerstone of every single list that I have seen. He's a super fat frog of Magic Mayhem. He casts 4 and denies 4, which is like 50% of Nagash for like 50 less than 50% of the points. And he can also recharge your CP, has unique spells, has unique abilities, and generally is just one of the best models for your faction. Straight up required, and Mr. Doctor, I will order it for you at the end of this session.
Okay. Okay.
Because like you cannot not have Lord Croak. Like the more I read, it's like frack. You need Lord Croak, and yes, he can steal the enemy's endless spells. I'll give the price later once we get to the shopping section. So Scar Veteran Old One is a very old model. It's Webster exclusive. It is kinda and really if you want one, you just convert from one of your spare Saurus warriors and paint them differently, or put the spare Scar Veteran that you get on your T-Rex on it because like apparently the Scar Veteran on T-Rex is bad. So Scar Veteran on Carnosaur is budget old blood on T-Rex. He's not actually bad. He's still pretty good, but he's outclassed. That's the problem with him. Yeah. So the Saurus Sunblood is a web store exclusive. He's a dedicated melee hero that also buffs your Saurus units. If you're running completely heavily on Saurus in the Coatil's Fangs, the Coatil's Claw should be bringing one. The Saurus Old Blood is well, he's generally an inferior version of either the Old Blood on the T-Rex or the Sunblood, so you're probably gonna want to give him a miss.
Hmm.
So the Saurus Old Blood on Carnosaur can run and then charge once it has killed a single model. And he gets +1 to hit against wound 7 or less, which makes him very anti-wound or even anti-stormcast. Anti-horde or anti-stormcast. And he also has a ranged attack that does extra damage to demons. But once again, he is outclassed, and your leader slot has been completely occupied by the existence of Lord Croak and probably an Engine of the Gods. So he will see less play than he used to. But he's by no means bad. He's just outclassed. So the Soros Astrolith Bearer, despite being Soros, is not brought in Soros armies. You bring him in a Starborn army because he supports Kinks and Slan better than Soros. He buffs everyone within 12 inches with a 6++, 6+ ward save. so you feel like you're undead. And he also gives +1 to all casting rolls, including Lord Croak. So he is a must-have in like a lot of Starborn lists. And he also gives the bonus summoning points as we discussed before. So he generates the CCP, very very Communist Party of China. The Source Eternity Warden is a bodyguard unit for this land, but in the hero slot. You would normally pass on this because Lord Croak generally doesn't need it, and your other and there's a better bodyguard unit that's in battle line. So the Skink Starseer is it's a skink who likes to pretend he's a slan. He's right there. So he's a great utility mage for the Starborn and Skink forces. Oh, Michael has a really great point in this one. Um, it's very hard to actually get this because it's web store, but you can convert one. You probably have enough bits from your Engine of the Gods, from your Saurus Warriors to build one. So, Skink Starseer. He is a skink pretending to be a slan on a throne. So he's a great utility mage for Starborn Skink forces. He's an auto take in Fangs of Sotek, and in any Starborn army. He helps with your charges and can regain CP. Just generally awesome utility. The Skink Star Priest comes in the start collecting skinks. He debuffs your enemies with -1 to hit. Mr. Doctor, you also want the start collecting skinks. I will tell you why later. It has a spell that turns one unit into luminous sentinels, which basically, if you have a swarm skinks, you have a star priest next to them. Use the spell on them, and they start dealing mortal wounds on sixes. It's awesome. You turn into fucking luminous, and it's not as auto take as the sitting skink, but it's pretty damn close. And if you can, you should be taking both of them for Starborn army. Now the skink priest, it's one of the cheapest heroes in the game. It's a great buff bot for skinks, but only for skinks. It only buffs skinks. So if you're not bringing lots of skinks, you shouldn't bother. But you also should not bother with crappy fine cast model because you get one for free if you built the Stegadon instead of the Engine of the Gods, which I believe you did, Mr. Doctor. You have
I
one Engine
did.
of the Gods and you have one Stegadon, so you should have a free Skink Priest.
I do have a skink priest.
Yeah. Yes, Joshua. The Star Priest and the Star Seer are both auto takes for Starborn. And yes, in particular for fans of Sotek. So, Pterodon Chiefs. Basically, it's a Pterodon character. Is Sildor that GIF friends? No. The Pterodon are bad in themselves, but making it a character makes it even worse. The same thing for the Pterodactyl Chief. If you want to field these guys, we'll talk about them later. So the Engine of the Gods.
Oh, I
It's a
love this piece.
random buff dinosaur, which is basically Wheel of Fortune, and you get like random buffs. If you're super lucky on a 3d6, you can cast Zawarudo and like do double attacks and like full rerolls because you're moving while time is stopped, like Tio. So it's really cool. He can also summon free Saurus warriors, and he can also cast heal like that dude from Redo of Healer. Absolutely awesome in Thunder Lizards, which Mr. Doctor is primarily playing. So absolutely auto take in Thunder Lizards. Yeah, and it is one of the harder to get models because it's website exclusive and does not come in a box. They used to come in that Thunder Beast
Thunder
host.
Beast host,
Yeah, the
which
Thunder
is the one
Beast
I got.
host
Yeah.
Christmas Army battle box. So hopefully, if we get another Seraphon one, there's gonna be more of them. So the Skink Chief on Stegadon is a really really good one for Thunder Lizards. And if you're a Thunder Lizard list without one, you are doing something wrong. You can tech it for both anti-horde and anti-big, and you can buff a skink unit with bonus attacks for all of their melee weapons, including itself, because this thing is considered a skink because it has skinks on the top. So you can give it extra attacks for all your melee weapons, and it gives you like super blendy. And because it's a skink, it's also still viable for fans of Sotek because it then gains like 3 inches of movement. So if you want to be anti-horde, you want to take the flamethrowers. If you want to be anti-big things, you want to take the bow. So yeah, what makes
I,
this a character is you put the skink chief on top. If you don't have the skink chief on top, it's a regular stegodon.
I do believe I got the flamethrower one. Yeah, I
Yes,
made
the
it the
flamethrower.
flamethrower.
Yeah, the flamethrower makes me sad because it's like it fucks my zombies. Yeah. So the skink oracle on Troglodon. If the Astrolithosaurus is actually good in Fangs of Sotek, this skink is really good in Thunder Lizards. He's a good all-around caster with built-in regeneration because it has Strog in it, and anything in Games Workshop that has Strog will have regeneration. So
Yeah, I think
as of now, this is actually the better build for your start collecting Seraphon box than the Carnosaurs. So Mr. Doctor had three, so no problem with him. Michael says it reminds him of the Kezu, but I don't think it looks like a penis. So yeah, doesn't look like a penis, naman.
I don't
So
think it looks like a
last
penis
for the
either.
hero slot is Kixitaka, and Starblood Stalkers, which are the Darkasm Warband. And honestly, why? These guys are just generally inferior versions of what you want him for. It does come with like an old blood, but without the old blood's commandability. So it's really not worth it, but you can use it to supplement more models. You have like an extra Skink Priest and an extra old blood. Yeah. So you get it for the models, but you never bring it actually for as Kixi, Taka, and the Starblood Stalkers. Now, getting to battle line. First of all, we have the Source Warriors. Sources are pretty divided between thinking they're the best thing ever or kind of meh. But they are in my personal opinion, they are pretty solid, but they are better in Coatl's Claw, which focuses on the Soros. But they're still pretty good for like survivability, holding, objectives, etc. They're not bad. Like they're just completely overshadowed by Skink Spam, but they're really not bad, particularly if you're playing Coalesced. They can be summoned reliably by Starborn with using the CCP. So you can print more using China, or you can get on a lucky roll with the Engine of the Gods. You get 10 free Saurus Warriors. So it's always worth it having at least 10 Saurus Warriors around, like the models, so that you can summon them for free.
Mm-hmm.
The Saurus Guards are a different unit altogether. They're chunkier versions of the Saurus Warriors. They are surprisingly not web store exclusive. Source Warriors are web store exclusive, but they come in the Seraphon start collecting. So you're gonna have multiples, no worries. So Source Guard, they can tank hits for Slan. Read, you can keep Croak alive. So you can look out, sir, for any Slan. So you're gonna want to bring a 10-man unit of this just to like bodyguard Croak, because Croak will be shot at by everything that has shooting because he's just so good. They deal more damage than warriors, but they're also more expensive. But honestly, you just bring 10 of them as ablative wounds for Lord Croak. They're really good for that. So the Saurus Knights, they are really really good in Coalesced, but they are very meh in Starborn because the mounts and the dude both have jaw attacks, and you get +1 for those, so they have lots more attacks. And remember the ABCs always be charging, particularly with these guys because they have bonuses on the charge. Um, yeah, think the Raptor pack from Jurassic Park. So these guys are also webster exclusive, but they do come in the start collecting Seraphon. So no worries, you will have multiples. You do have multiples, Mr.
I
Doctor.
do. I do have quite a lot. I have two. I bought two start collectings.
Excellent. So now here we go with the skinks.
Oh,
There's a lot to talk about with the skinks. The skinks are like gods. They're super cheap. They have access to shooting. They have so many buff heroes that can buff them. They're just straight up really good. You can turn them into cheaper, shittier Lumineth with that command ability from the Star Priest. They can also redeploy in Fangs of Sotek, 9 inches away. So you can just like keep shunting them to places where you want them to shoot, so that or and that they never get charged. You will really buy hordes of skinks. Like the skinks are a must buy for any Seraphon army. Used to not be, but now they are. But don't worry, they are neither website exclusive, and they also come in start collecting skinks, which you will want for the Bastiladon. So yeah, spam the motherfuckers and you will not regret it. And yeah, hooray for airbrush batch painting and contrast paints. Contrast paints will make painting these guys like less of a chore because it's just like contrast done. Now, chameleon skinks. They are sneaky super skinks, more expensive than skinks. But they do have a 3 plus save while they're in cover, and they can teleport all over the place. They're an excellent harassment unit. Just don't expect them to be super powerful. And you should paint them red, gold, and green. Red, gold, and green. Yes. Yes. Anyway, there's skink snipers. They're pretty cool. They're a pretty cool concept because they're chameleon skinks, but they are webster exclusive and they are not required. So Pterodon riders, oh gods, they do deal mortal wounds to enemies if they fly over it, but they're really not worth it for the points. Really bad. But you do get three in like the start collecting skinks, so if ever, you should probably build them as Riperdactyl riders. They have a better save than the bomber, so they don't auto die. And then you can mark a target enemy unit for rerolls once per game. But once that enemy unit is dead, like their value sharply drops. So make sure that it's something you really want dead. But they're super cheap, so you can use them as a cheap throwaway assassin unit. It's a better option for the kit, but still kind of meh. But if you are going to be building them, you should build them as this.
I did. I built them all as
Yes,
Riperdactyls.
excellent. So the salamanders naman are really really good. They're like mobile short-range artillery with 4 shots at 12 inches and an each in 8-inch move. So they have like a 20-inch threat range. And their 4 shots have -2 rend and deal D3 wounds, which turn into mortals on a 6. So they're pretty strong, particularly against well anything. And they're excellent summoning fodder in Starborn. But even Thunder Lizards will want to bring them.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, they are webster exclusive and they are old, creepy, fine cast models. So very sad. Now the
Okay,
Razor
update.
Dawns are the cheaper but inferior salamander. Just pass and get a salamander. Now the Croxigor are weird that they are neither skink nor Soros, but they are crocodiles. So they cannot be buffed by things that buff skink or Soros, but they do get +1 to hit when near any skink unit. But generally, just take something else unless you really like the Smash Crocodiles. Now, the Stegodon. It's an angry Triceratops with skink riders. We discussed this earlier in the skink chief section, but we'll discuss the weapon options more here. You can take the bows for killing stormcast and big things, or you can take the flamethrowers to completely rend hordes. So that will make Cash sad. They also get a +1 to save if they are fighting a unit with 5 plus models, which makes me even sadder. Gods, I hate this thing. And it's a fucking battle line in Thunder Lizards. So you can have literally an entire army of dinosaurs. No, Michael, this is bad. You should make Cash happy and buy more things. So the only thing dragging this thing back is it's a web store exclusive. But honestly, this thing is really really good. However, it's not as good as the Bastiladon. Behold the Ninja Turtle. It's the only fucking thing in either Warhammer game system with the 1 plus save. So rolls of 1 on the save will still fail. However, it makes it so that it's immune to -1 rend. So it's really, really hard to wound and really, really hard to kill. It's the most defensive thing in the entire game. Like much hullabaloo was made over it. And it has a giant fucking sun laser of doom on its back, which deals crazy amounts of damage. And just buy it. It's fucking buy it, really. Like this is why you get start collecting skinks. This and the skinks. The 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 pterodons slash pterodactyls are just a bonus. But gods, this thing. Mr. Doctor, look, it's a sun laser.
I do see it. It looks beautiful.
It's fucking awesome. So yeah, fire the giant laser. Anyway, this is straight up required in Thunder Lizards, in Fangs of Sotek, anything. This is required. You have to buy it. Like if you're 285 points is a freaking steal for this thing, okay? It almost never freaking dies and it has a giant sun laser. It also has the skink keyword which makes it faster in Fangs of Sotek. It's just 235 Jeebus. Okay, that's totally not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Anyway, yeah, you get two. This is the reason why you get to start collecting skinks.
Aray ko po.
So, last but not least is the Realm Shaper engine. It used to be garbage because before you had to place it on the board before selecting deployment zones. So you could have given your opponent a free garrisonable terrain by accident. But now you can only place it in your deployment zone. So it makes it so much better. It's a must have. It's free, um, and you can stuff a chief, skink, wizard, or priest inside and start raining mortal wounds upon the foe. You can also put like skinks inside and start shooting, because it's garrisonable terrain. And honestly, it's an auto buy. It's free. It's good, and it looks freaking awesome. Look at it. Look at it, Mister Doctor.
I do
Do you
see
not
it.
want the pyramid?
I do want the pyramid.
Yes, you want the pyramid. So if anyone there is considering starting Seraphon, um, you will get the Realm Shaper engine. It's just good. So anyway, it's rule of cool. Um, if the good things are not your liking, if you don't like spamming skinks, you don't have to play the skinks. You play the rule of cool. You play what you want. So if you wanna spam Ripper Dactyls, that's totally up to you. Like if you wanna build like an entire force of like Ripper Dactyls, go fucking wild. But I do recommend to play them in Coalesce. They are much better in Coalesce. You would think that they would be better in Fangs of Sotek for the movement, but they actually need the survivability more. And the Coalesce don't actually have a lot of things that move super fast or teleport, so having something flying as a harassment unit is not a bad choice. So, unfortunately, Teacher Mikey is not back yet, so I will just read the words next to his photo. So, apparently they have holy crap, they got 32 unique fighters to choose from. Shit, and none of them are bad. Also, every model is oozing with character. The skirmish format really gives you a great opportunity, excuse, to literally catch them all. It's not very technical, it's a straightforward faction that's good for beginners. So your first option is to go with a squishy horde skink themed warband led by tough flyers and the Ripperdactyls. Okay, so Ripperdactyls are good in Warcry. Okay. Or Pterodons if you want ranged attacks, who have and supported by ranged attacks from the skink star priest. Okay. Mobility and numbers are king in Warcry, and they can all be found in the start collecting skinks box. But you buy this for the Bastiladon. Yeah, Bastiladon. So, Seraphon in skirmish combat. Your second option would be a semi-horde Saurus themed warband that trades in speed and higher model count for better toughness, but has about the same damage output unless you spend on abilities. Teacher Mikey only recommends this because one start collecting Seraphon is all you need and they do look cool, but he does prefer the skinks. Um, yeah, right now with the current meta, the skinks are the preferred box and they do have the better monster in the Bastiladon than the Carnosaur. Now, the one weakness of Seraphon is their lack of heavy hitters, capping at strength 4 with no way to increase it. Daughters of Cain, by contrast, are killy and fast, completely ignoring defense. Teacher Mikey recommends adding 2 or 3 Soros Guard for a little more punch and armor, but it will cost you an extra box, which is a big ask for Warcry, but not for Teacher Mikey, who will collect everything if you give him the chance. But honestly, buying the Source Guard box is really good because you get 15 of them, and you really only need 10. You have a squad of 10, you put them near Croak, and Croak is protected. So, choose either one of the start collecting boxes from the faction. If you want fast and numerous, you go with Skinks. If you want tough and still somewhat numerous, you go with Soros. And then you supplement it with a box of Soros Guard to round out your warband, or just give you toughness options, but not really necessary. So this is one of those things where you just buy one box and you're mostly done. So buyer's guide naman to Seraphon and AOS. Depending on how you want to go, you either want to get multiples of the start collecting Seraphon, and no matter which way you go, you want to get at least 2 start collecting skinks. Yeah, I am sorry, Mr. Doctor, you have to buy more.
The
You have
meta
to
has
get
changed.
you have to get 2 start collecting skinks. You have to get Croak. You have to get the Source Guard, and you have to get the Pyramid.
Maybe we'll
Yeah.
start with the pyramid.
Yeah, the Pyramid is a definite must have. Then I recommend either going Croak or Bastiladon. And heck, once you get like once start collecting skinks, you can actually build them as Pterodons naman for Warcry. So you have shooting in your Warcry
Yeah,
warband.
that was actually what I was thinking because I actually bought a separate box of the flyers and turned them into uh the Ripperdactyls.
Yeah. So once you get the start collecting skinks, you can actually build 3 Pterodons. Anyway, for someone just starting, it would be recommended to get 2 of the start collecting skinks to begin with, then get more skinks as a separate box. You get the Saurus Warrior, the Saurus Guard rather, to protect your Croak. You get the Astrolith Bearer if you're going Fangs of Sotek, which is the more competitive force. You already do get the Skink Star Priest in here, so you should get the Star Seer, which is web store exclusive. You definitely get a Pyramid. You order a Stegodon, and this is for Fangs of Sotek, which is the more competitive option. And last but definitely not least, you get Lord Croak. Damn it, Teacher Mikey. He edited my Lord Croak. It's supposed to fill the entire screen. Anyway, so yeah, Lord Croak, must have. Utterly required must have. So now we come to the point where we look at the unpainted stuff.
Backlog shaming. Here we
Yes,
go.
backlog shaming. Here we go.
Backlog shaming.
Yeah. Michael actually recommends you get two of the skink start collecting box, one Saurus box, and get the pyramid and get the frog. You can
Actually,
actually
that's the
skip on the Saurus box unless you want to go coalesced. If you want to go coalesced, you can get two of the start collecting Seraphon box, but definitely get two of the skink box at least.
but I did get two of the start collecting.
Seraphon, yes. It's ironic that I had you build the Troglodon just like as an extra thing, but now it's the good thing.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I remember you saying I would actually recommend. You actually recommended that I build at certain point just the Carnosaur instead of the Troglodon.
Yeah,
If
because
you
the
were more
Troglodon used to
interested,
be
yeah,
garbage.
yeah. You mentioned that, but then I thought the figure was so pretty and just so there was so much character to it. Like,
Yeah, honestly, guys, it's rule of cool. If you like a model, given enough time, G-Dub will probably make it good.
yeah, look, it's got like this spitty thing that's coming out of it.
Yeah, be very careful with the spitty thing.
I am constantly careful with the spitty thing. I never want to break the spitty thing.
Anywho, so this is Mr. Doctor's pile of shame. So, Mr. Doctor, honestly, this is like one contrast session away from being done. You just have to spray paint it in Bosnia fluorescent white, which I'm restocking in a couple of weeks. Yeah, so
Maybe when I know
very good.
when it's I know when it starts to dry. But I've yet to fill the gaps on these though on all of my Seraphon. I was gonna start like sometime next week or sometime during the holidays.
Okay, so but honestly, you don't have to. These guys are like
Oh yeah,
fodder.
yeah, yeah. The big ones though definitely some gap filling.
Yes, definitely gap fill on the big ones. The big ones are your centerpieces. Eh.
Hmm.
Okay, so these are your cavalry. Yes,
Yes, but
so
if you
always be charging on these guys.
see the little zoomed in picture on the lower right there,
Yeah,
uh, that's just me showing off that I scraped the hands off the thing and then glued it to the mount to
yeah.
make it look
Just
like
for reference for our viewers at home, the better option for these guys are the spears.
yes.
Yeah, for both spears.
That's why they all have spears, and they
Okay,
all
now
have the
these
other
are
weapons too.
the
They're
Riperdactyls.
yeah,
They're pretty big, huh?
yeah. They're surprisingly big.
I
Like
thought they were gonna be tiny.
no, no, yeah, they're big, and even their bases, and their mounts on the bases go like I think 10 centimeters.
Nice, nice.
No,
So
not ten
they
centimeters.
are.
Yeah,
So
ten
if you're
centimeters.
fighting an enemy who doesn't know they're garbage, they're pretty intimidating. So like you can use that in your favor.
Yeah,
Oh, this is so
and
nice.
what I like about their assembly pack is it comes with plenty of customization options. Yeah, like you can put like piercings on the wings, uh, w- jewelry on the tails. I think that's excellent about it. But yeah, I am excited to build finally the pterodons if ever. Well, when I get the skink box,
Yes, it's a when. It's not an if.
it's a win. It's really a win. It's really a win.
Yeah, Stilodon is just too good to pass up.
Yeah, and it's the one figure I've been craving all these years because I already have like two Carnosaurs
Yeah,
and
you have every other monster in the faction except the Bastillodon.
yeah, yeah. Which
And
the
the
reason
Forge
I
World
got into
Red
the
Saurian
faction, yeah,
is
yeah,
the big monsters.
yeah, I got into this because of the big monster, like big monster.
Yeah, and this is why you're playing Thunder Lizard and not Fangs of Sotek.
Yeah.
And honestly, since you are building Thunder Lizard, you may not need to spam that many start collecting skinks. Like you don't have to build like you don't have to get all of the other you don't have to get all the other skink characters.
Mhm.
Mosquito, and yeah, Michael, he already has an engine of the gods, so no worries on
Yeah,
that.
I do. I do. I have it right
Yeah,
here on my
here
desk.
it's here on screen.
There it is.
Engine of the gods, yes. So
I have a few more
yeah,
spikes somewhere. I want to add more spikes to this thing.
do it. Though I would have recommended not to glue the palanquin on the back until like you started painting.
Oh, well, yeah, that's my mistake.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit trickier, pero like kaya pa rin naman. So yeah, this is your old one and your Scar veteran, yes?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Sorry, old blood and your Scar veteran.
yeah. I've had the old blood assembled for a while, but the Scar Veteran is new. I got that from the Thunder Beast host box.
Hmm. And yeah, Mr.
My
Spitty
favorite.
Boy.
Yeah, my Spitty Boy. I, what's
Spitty
its
Boy is
different?
an auto. Hmm?
What's its difference from the one with the tongue?
Wala, it's just ano, design.
Okay, I wanted the spit because it looked more dynamic and, well,
Yeah,
just
it's
honestly
either.
cooler.
Either is fine. So, and as we promised, we're featuring Giancarlo's painted Night Hunt since he actually sent them to us. So, and they're based, unlike Teacher Mikey stuff. So, yeah, these are absolutely gorgeous. Look at them. He even added like uh wing blinder things to his to the horses on his black coach. I particularly love the tombstones. Like they are a nice touch. And yeah, amazing blending effects on these things.
Yeah.
Um yeah. Blue Night Hunt are actually less common than Green Night Hunt. So it's great to actually see Blue Night Hunt. But you still have the green for like the flames and the effects, which is pretty cool. Um of course, here we have the Grimgas Reapers, which are absolutely boss. I love the rust on the sides. So if they don't kill you with a scythe, they will kill you with tetanus. So that's about it. Um, this is our November. So we're here at Faction Focus Seraphon. Tomorrow, Teacher Mikey will discuss with us the state of the meta for Kill Team for the first 3 months. Um, and then next week we will be having Faction Focus Necrons with Esteban. Um, on the 27th, we will be shifting instead of faction focus Signar into a general War Machine primer. So, Mr. Doctor, if we can update the calendar na lang for that.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Just yeah.
but yeah, definitely. If you have more stuff you want us to feature, we would be absolutely happy to feature them. They are gorgeous, honestly. Like they are tons better than my own Night Hunt. But then I didn't put much effort into my Night Hunt. They're like pon patapon. So that's it for our faction focus. But I did promise Michael that we would watch the Lizardman animation and react to it. So, Mr. Doctor, let's do that now.
Yeah. Let's scroll
All
up
right.
to get the link. Oh, there it is. Is that the one?
Yeah, I have it open. I'm just gonna
Okay.
share it on the tube of you.
Could you link it in our private chat as well because I won't be able to hear it.
Oui, oui, mon ami.
There you go.
All right. So I'm gonna share that screen. Yes. So for those of you who want, here's a closer look at my head. So I know people want to see that, particularly Michael. Like the headset actually like made an impression on my scalp, and I had to adjust my headset because like the hair volume had to be compensated for. Okay, so share screen, window. There we go. Oh, YouTube ads.
Wait, I'm getting the sound. Can we transfer sound now? I think we can.
Yeah, yeah. So just
Okay,
turn off
I don't
yours.
have.
Yeah,
I can turn off mine. Oh,
I'll
so
just
that's
max
a
the
new
sound on
thing.
this.
Thank you, Streamyard.
So once again, this is just on YouTube. Michael actually posted the link, so let's react to it. So thank you, Paul 1748.
Ooh, that's an old blood, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's a Croxigore.
I love them. I love the dinosaurs so much. I love the lizards so much.
Imagine being saved by freaking lizards.
I love the lizards so much. I wanna cry.
Skeek!
Woohoo.
I love the animation on the gold.
Yeah, me too. And the glowing parts.
Yeah.
Woo! Woo!
Smash!
No, there's a skink on top of the Croxicore.
Lol, the walks are fucked. He's like, oh well. Yeah.
High five. Oh my god, this is adorable. It's like a dinosaur D&D party.
Fuck, it's a giant.
No, he's it.
Oh shit!
That was excellent.
Awesome.
That
Awesome.
was
That
excellent.
was
Oh my
freaking
god.
awesome.
That was
Thank
excellent.
you for sending us that, Michael.
And thank you to Paul. Was that 1748?
70 1748. Yes.
That was excellent. I'm gonna send that to people and then cry about it because that was so
Yeah.
good. Because I love the Seraphon so
Absolutely
much.
excellent. Well, that's all we have for today, folks. Unfortunately, Teacher Mikey is not done with his simping for Papa Doots. So we're gonna sign off. Thanks everyone for watching our Start Collecting Seraphon. If you guys have more stuff you want us to react to, definitely do send them to us. And I'll see you on Monday for Pre-Order Monday, and then for Faction Focus Necrons con Esteban. So until then, this is Kesh and Mr. Doctor saying good night.